The last time the NOVAR Verizon Cup Series drivers hit the track, Scott Johnson took the victory at Mosport in the final road course race of the year. This week's race, we head to the Talladega Superspeedway, a 2.66 mile superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama, which is the final superspeedway race of the year. This track has been relatively known for its crazy crashes, photo finishes, and all of that, and it's actually unique, unlike the other superspeedways we've gone to. Unlike most superspeedways, which the start-finish line is at the center of the tri-oval, this one's a little bit down going into turn number 1, which has led some exciting photo finishes. But from any silly season story rumors, there haven't been really any that's been tossed around up to this point, although it has been officially confirmed that Coca-Cola, which sponsored Mike Hogan at Tyson Bell Racing, will move over from Tyson Bell Racing to Ease Racing in 2015. It is not known if it will sponsor Chris Bell in the future, or Chandler Blake, or any other E-Racing cars. But it is certainly known that Coca-Cola will be the sponsor of the number whatever that Mike Hogan is driving next year when Mike Hogan moves to the Ease Racing organization. That is all I have for the pre-race stuff. And now let's head over to the race for Kendall Johnson taking the race recap. As thank you, Casey Lister in car number 12 leads the field down to the green flag with Walter Green in car number 39 on his outside. As car number 12 of Lester gets away from the green, who I don't think got a good start at all. Gordon Billard in car number 91 having help with Jamie Scotty in car number 9, Billard's teammate. As Billard and Scotty are trying to make a charge, looks like Eddie Johnson, the 55, is going to be the first one to go low under the 9 of Scotty, and then Billard's going to go low under the 12 of Casey Lester, as looks like Lester and Billard will battle side by side. Scotty has the 12 while Johns has the 91. Looks like the 91 is starting to get the edge off of turn number 4, and coming down to the stripe, looks like car number 91 of Billard and Eddie Jones the 55, they'll battle out. Logan Chin in car number 72 is going to make him go 3 wide very early in this race. As there we see, we already got 4 wide racing behind them, as it looks like Logan Chin in car number 72 is the first lap. Jonathan Winslow also going to try to make it 4 wide. However, that would not last as long because our first caution will come out lap number 2. On lap number 2, Casey Lester, car number 12, gets it. Shane Arkin gets into the back of his own teammate Casey Lester, and as a result, that sends off a small pile. But there you see Shane Howard in car number 25 rolling over on this accident. Walter Ethan, car number 8, gets involved. Steven Volk, Corey Von Delga, Chadwick Blake, your points leader, is also involved. However, he doesn't get too much damage. Here's what happened. Appears that the 32 gets in the back of 12. That sends him into Scott Howard. Scott Johnson's also in there. Let's see. Looks like Kyle Ikeson's also in there. Alan Kimmel, Ronald Portland. Brandon Green was also in there. And I think that's about it. There you see Luke Warren, car 14 is also in there. And here's coming back to the caution. Eddie Johns, the 55, turns the 72 of Logan Chin, and it appears that Chris Bell is also collected as well in that wreck. So that is about no problems there. As we would take the restart on lap number 6 with Jamie Scott and car number 9 leading the way, with Blake Battaglione and car number 50 in second. As there you see the pack going rolling down, going into turn number 1. Looks like Jonathan Winslow in car number 00 is already going to make the move on the inside of Blake Battaglione in car number 50. As now they roar down the back straightaway, as we have, it appears that the 00 of Jonathan Winslow is also there as well. The 98 Shane Clark III is also there as well. It appears the 5 Casey Littinger is also there. CJ Gordon, Jay Carolyn, and Justin Klingston are also there as well. Jonathan Winslow in the 00 will see about a charge as the pack is starting to form up. There you see Winslow already made a move. Shane Clark III tried to get back under the 48 CJ Gordon, but somehow couldn't get the line. Looks like Jamie Scotty will retain the lead on this lap by about a good tenth of a second. As we got Winslow in the 0, looks like the 48 Gordon, CJ Gordon to the race lead. Jake Carolyn, Justin Klingston are also there as well. As now it looks like Carolyn's going to try to make a move right behind, but we would have our next caution lap on number 11. There was some contact between Shane Clark III, Jamie Scotty, Shane Harden, and Blake Battaglione. This would send Todd Piper collected as well. Cody White, Brandon Green, Shane Nargin's in there. Todd Piper gets even more damage there. Let's take a look at what happened to Mark Mangillo. He actually made it through the first part, but then gets run into the 42 of Shane Bliss. Nobody else will hit anybody, although somebody else, I believe, hit Blake Battaglione. I couldn't really tell who that was. As we're going to take the restart. Looks like Casey Ito in car number 19 leads on the restart on lap number 15. Justin Klingston in car number 24 is in second. Chris Bell in car number 38 is in third. Looks like the 19 of Casey Huto gets away from the 24 of Justin Klingston. Chris Bell in the 38 gets in second. Bell's going to try to go to the inside of Klingston. Klingston's going to try to shut that door, but gets himself turned in front of the field. And Alan Kimmel is also collected, so Justin Klingston, the second place man, gets turned around. This does not bring out a yellow flag. There you see the 24 is actually back there. He's pulled out of the way, so this does not bring out a yellow flag. Here's what happened to Klingston. Looks like he appeared to try to come down on the 38, but he wasn't clear enough, and as a result, the 24 turns himself in front of the pack. The 24 does not get anybody else, nor the 88 does. But back up front, Walter Green in car number 39 is leading Casey Littinger and Casey Huto in car number 19. As looks like Littinger in the 5 is going to try to make the charge, but Walter Green's going to shut the door. As Littinger in the 5 is going to have help from Jana Nora and Jamie Scott in car number 9. As they're going to be heading out of turn 2. We got several cars around. One car is sideways. Jonathan Winslow's collected. Then we got more wrecking. Tony Weiner's also in there. And that brings out, and that one does bring out the yellow flag. Several cars wrecking. Here's what happened. Looks like Eddie John gets into the back of the 95. Tony Weiner's in there. Eddie Johns, Jonathan Winslow, Damon Scott in car number 18. Here's that's it for the 95. Here's what happened to Alan Kimmel's perspective. He took a very wild ride. He gets into the 55 of Eddie Johns and the 91 and just slides down the back straightaway. Does not get turned over at all, so he just is just basically just gliding down the back straightaway. About at least a good 150 miles an hour, and then somehow comes to a stop at the end of the backstretch, right near the backstretch wall. Here's what happened with Jonathan Winslow. He gets hooked by the 95 of Evan Brooks, who gets hooked by Eddie Johns. He tumbles down the back straightaway, gets hit by Ethan Zarin, and then rolls again, gets hit by Damon Scott, and it appears nobody else will hit the 00 of Jonathan Winslow. As here's another angle. This is from the backstretch shot. There you see what happened to Tony Weiner in the 35. He gets hooked, I believe, by Scott Harper. As here's from Scott Harper's perspective, the 20 of Montillo is also there. There you see Corey Von Douglas also there. Harper gets hit hard by somebody, and then he gets hit hard by the 25 of Scott Howard. Scott Johnson, the 58, is also collected. As the car that I believe hit him hard was, I think, the 23 of Corey Von Douglas. On the restart, Casey Lister in car number 12, who actually gotten damage from an earlier wreck, was leaving on the restart. The 01 of Jay Roy and Chris Bell actually go by, and Casey Lister actually is losing a lot of ground really easily. As you see the 39 of Walter Green is already making a pass on the 12. Casey Lister is just falling like a rock, as he did get damage from an earlier wreck. As they see the 01 of Honori is actually in the lead. The 39 of Walter Green is trying to get to the second spot. Shane Harding, car number 59, who has been basically quiet this entire race, has already climbed his way up back to third. As there you see the 59 of Shane Harding. Harding's going to try to make a move for second, but won't be enough to make a charge for the lead. However, he will have a shot at going for the lead. And so you see Harding's going to go for the lead here, but does he have a good enough gap? It appears he does, and he will go for the lead. So Shane Harding, car number 59, to the race lead, with Casey Littinger, car number 5 in second. Lap traffic would be a major issue throughout the race. And here's the first of it. This is coming from Tony Weiner. Weiner almost gets into Jake Kierland and Casey Littinger, as someone holds the middle lineup that had Walter Green, Chad LeBlake, and Walter Youthen in the 8. After that, the 35 of Weiner gives up the inside lane, as he's actually giving to the outside, but Walter Youthen in the 8 selecting not to, instead just goes to the inside. Ethan Zarin would also be a lap car in the factor, as he held up the inside line. There you see Logan Chig gets turned by Chandler Blake. Todd Piper's is collected as well. So several cars wrecking. We got one car already spinning off the track. They think Jason Duke. Piper's going to come down and gets hit up hard by the 8 of Walter Youthen. So I don't know what that was all about from Chandler Blake. Here's what happened to Jason Duke. As there you see, Chandler Blake just turns Logan Chin around. Duke was actually trying to avoid the wreck, but then came back up and got into the 32 of Shane Nargan. The 66 comes down the track and actually backs it up. Here's what happened to Walter Youthen's perspective. Youthen was trying to avoid the wreck, and then right at about maybe half a second before impact, he turns right into the back bumper of that 26. So I don't even think he actually tried to avoid the wreck at all. Had he just clipped it, he would have probably gotten maybe minor damage. And then Chad Blake just somehow, he had a lane wide open, but instead of taking that lane and making a ton of ground, he just elected to dunk the 72 of Logan Chin. Casey Huto led on the restart, as actually we did get a report that car number 15 and 8 to the hauler after the race for their questionable actions happening on that lap, as Casey Yuto in car number 19 led on the restart. Ronald Portland in the 31 is in second, Heath Hales in third, and Shane Harden in the 59 is in fourth. Ronald Portland's actually had a very quiet season so far in that 31 car, as he has not really made too much noise, but he's making some right here, as he's right now running in the second spot. Now going to probably lose that second spot to Keith Hales, as Casey Yuto in car number 19 pulls away from the packs, as Keith Hales in the 27 is going to be having help from Jamie Scott in car number 9. Walter Green in car number 39 is also there. We would have a very long green flag run until lap 64, where Jake Kierland just lunges into the back of Ethan Zarin, as then Kierland gets hit from the 95 of Evan Brooks. Keith Hales and Stephen Volk were also collected, as that was our first caution of the second half, as it happened on lap 64. Jay Arnori in car number 01 led on the restart, with Logan Chin in the 72 in second. Third place being actually Logan Chin. Logan Chin's actually off the lead lap. My bad on that one. And there you see Stephen Volk is actually in second. Cody White in the 22 is in third. Walter Green in fourth. As looks like Arnori is starting to pull away from the 29. Arnori is starting to pull away from the 29 of the Stephen Volk, Cody White. And there you see Alan Kimmel trying to go under the lap car of Logan Chin. Kimmel, who's also off the lead lap, is actually going to try to help Walter Green get a surge, as Green and Kimmel's, I believe, somewhat still running on pace, but he just not had the car, as Arnori is just pulling away. She already has a huge gap over the 29 of Stephen Volk. We would have our next caution. Shane Harden just dumps the 24 of Justin Klingston around for no apparent reason. The 24 comes down, gets hit by Keith Hales in the 27. Casey Lester is also in there. As the 24 comes down, here's what happened. Keith Hales gets hit. Scott Johnson gets hit as well. Billard and Casey Lester in the 12 are also collected. Scott Johnson, I believe all these cars would continue on going, as there you see Scott Johnson. On the restart, Chandler Blake led on the restart with one car on the apron. I believe that was a Tony Wider in the 35. The 5 of Casey Lintinger led on the restart, was actually in second. And the 5 of Casey Lintinger and the 15 of Chandler Blake would have pretty much quite an interesting battle action throughout the later stages of the race, and we had that restart on lap 76. These two would have quite an interesting battle, and this is them 7 laps later. The two will go side by side and actually battle with the surges between the two, as looks like the 15 of Blake actually has the advantage down the backstreet. There's the pack. The pack's led by Walter Green in car number 39, but I believe Stephen Volk is going to try to make a move. He has help from Shane Hargan in car number 32. I believe everybody is on the lead lap in that pack, but these two are about to face lap traffic, with Lintinger and Blake right now leading the way. They have about a good couple of seconds gaps. I believe that was set up by lap traffic. There you see Casey Huto, actually the 29 of Stephen Volk, right now leading the pack, as the 15 of Chandler Blake and Casey Lintinger, here they come to the stripe this time by. We'll see who gets there. Looks like Lintinger gets there first, as you see the several laps later, while Blake and Lintinger were still battling, Casey Huto led the pack, came and charged right in, and Casey Huto in the 19 is going to try to make one last ditch effort. Looks like the 39, the 19 is going to go high, Chris Bell's going to go high, but this race may end here. Shane Bliss in the 42 just dumps the 06 of Chris Devon, and Jamie Scott in the 9 were also collected, as here's the race back to the caution, as it will be on lap number 93. And as a result of this, as the caution would actually force this race to end under caution in regulation. So that means we'll be going to overtime. Before we get started, here are some rules and notes about overtime, which was introduced last year. Since this track is a 2.66 mile superspeedway and above 2 miles, it will be a 2-lap shootout. So essentially, it's a green-white checkered. Any car that is out of the race and not on the lead lap is out of overtime, and then that means they will not be competing in overtime, and their finishing result is official. As of the 22 cars that made it to the finish in regulation, only 14 will remain for the overtime period. Any cars that made it to the finish of the race on the lead lap, they can do any repairs. That include Walter Green's engine, which I believe blew coming to the end of regulation, as they will be, as the team did allow to get that engine fixed up. And not only that, this race will also have unlimited attempts, and if car does fall off the lead lap during the overtime period, then their finishing result will be official as of that overtime period. So if we go 3 overtime periods and a driver falls a lap down during the first overtime period, their finishing result will be official based on the first overtime period. And just a note on the overtime unlimited attempts, if the cars make it to the white flag, that means they will be able just to race it out without any issue of a caution. However, if a caution does come out in the first lap of overtime, and they'll take the white flag, complete the overtime period, and then they will run it again. So essentially, if the caution does come out in this overtime period, the race, which would actually be officially be credited as 97 laps, would then be extended to 99 laps overall, with another 2 laps added on. And now let's take a look at our running order as of the end of regulation. Chandler Blake in car number 15 leads at the end of regulation. Chris Bell in car number 38, Blake's teammate, is in second. They would have actually had some type of work together, but with Bell starting on the outside, that's probably going to be different now. Stephen Volk in car number 29 is in third. Casey Hutto in car number 19 is in fourth. Casey Littinger in the 5 is in fifth. Jason Duke 6th. Shane Nargan 7th. Janet Honore 8th. Cody White 9th. Eddie Johnson 55 10th. 9th. The number 9 of Jamie Scott is in 11th. 12th is Shane Bliss, who caused that last caution. Ronald Portland car number 39, and Walter Green would have, I believe, finished in the 6th spot heading into overtime. However, he blew his motor and they were able to get the repairs done. However, he will finish on officially 14th. So let's get this race on. As Chandler Blake in car number 15, he leads the 14-car field to the green flag on lap number 96 of the restart, with Bell on his outside, and Stephen Volk in the 29 is right behind. As it looks like Volk in the 29, looks like Littinger is already pushed up to the high side, and that I believe by Shane Nargan in car number 32. Jana Nori in the 01 is right now right behind the 32 in Nargan. Cody White in the 22 is also behind Anadori. However, White is going to go to the inside of Anadori, and that means Silver Green Racing, they'll have 2 cars on the inside to try to make a charge on Chandler Blake. Nobody, as of now, has made a charge. Stephen Volk tried to get there, but he was pushed out of line by Nargan. Nargan in the 32 now gets ahead of the 29. Can Nargan and White make a charge on Blake, or will Blake hang on? They're going to be coming out of turn number 4. We already got a wreck. Littinger, Portland, Duke, all wrecking, but no yellow flag. As they're going to be heading to the white flag, Bliss on 42 is making a charge by Jamie Scott as we've taken the white flag, so any threat of another overtime period is out the window. Bliss got a good run, and now he opens the door on the 15 of Blake. The 9 of Jamie Scott will now be trying to push his way behind the 42. The 55, Eddie Johns, is also there. Johns has yet to win a race this year, and this is a good chance for him to do so. The 9 of Jamie Scott has not won at all. Bliss has not won this year. So for these 3, they have a good shot at doing so. Bliss leads the charge into turn number 3. It is 2 5-car trains with Jay Arnoy right now on the high side. As looks like it's going to be a drag race between the 42 and the 9. The 55 of Johnson's looking. Now he makes a move to the inside. 3 wide across the track. Blake's going to try to make it 4 wide. And side by side, who gets there? I could not tell, but according to the monitors, they said Eddie Johns got there first. We'll have to check replay, but first, here's what happened in the back. Casey Littinger apparently gets hooked by the back of Jason Duke, and the 31 of Ronald Portland is also collected. The 5 and the 31 hit the wall, and the 66 would also get there, but here is the finish. We're going to have to check video review, and it does appear that Eddie Johns in car number 55 got him by 4 1/1000ths of a second. So after that nail-biting finish, Eddie Johns takes the victory by 4 1/1000ths of a second over Shane Bliss in car number 42, who finishes in second. Chandler Blake in car number 15 finishes third in his number 15 Exide Battery Chevrolet and extends his points lead, as next week he will have to increase it just slightly over Todd Piper, and he could clinch the 2014 NOVAR Verizon Cup Series Championship. Casey Hutto in car number 19 finishes in the 4th spot for Bulls Racing in that number 19 car. Cody White in car number 22 finishes in 5th. 6th was Jamie Scott in the 9. 7th was Chris Bell in the 38 for Ease Racing. Shane Nargan in car number 32 finishes 8th in the Discount Tires number 32 Dodge Charger. Steve Volk of the 29 finishes in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is car number 39 of Walter Green. The other cars that made it to the finish in overtime, the only other car that was in the pack that did not finish in the top 10 was Jay Ananori. In the 01, she finished 11th. Jason Duke finished 12th. Casey Linder 13th, Ronald Thornton 14th. They were all involved in that crash, coming to the white flag, which did not produce a yellow flag. And now let's take a look at your point standings. Chandler Blake in car number 15 leads the points by 39. He rapidly extends it to 39. If Blake leaves this next week at Texas with more than 45 points, he will win the 2014 NOVAR Verizon Cup Series Championship. However, his fate for Texas is not really known due to the fact that he was involved in that wreck on lap 31 that NOVAR is currently investigating, and penalties should be coming out soon. So we do hope Blake is there at Texas and will be able to clinch it due to the fact that he has been a very consistent car. And Blake, actually, there's actually rumors if Blake does not get suspended for Texas, he could potentially clinch the 2014 NOVAR Verizon Cup Series Championship there. That's some predictions that may happen there. Todd Piper in car number 26, he is in second. He is 39 points back. He'll probably need, if Blake does not race at Texas due to the suspension, a potential suspension for Chandler Blake to be exact, Piper will probably need at least a top 5 in order for him to take the points lead. But if he gets at least a top 10 or a decent finish with some bonus points to add to that, he could potentially cut the lead to a good margin for Piper to strike at Columbia. Cody White in car number 22, however, will probably need all the points he needs. He needs at least a win and probably the full 45 in order for him to take the points lead for Cody White. Shane Nargan, on the other hand, will unable to take the points lead. He'll probably be at least 16 points back if Blake does not race next week at Texas with a full 45 points. He'll probably be 16 points back. Jason Duke in the 66 is the only other remaining championship contender. He is 84 points back. And any chance for Duke to win the title will probably be in doubt since he is 84 points back, and the maximum points you need to get the full 45 in both races would be 88, as Duke's not had the car, I believe, at the half miles. So I believe any chance of Duke winning the title is pretty much questionable now. Keith Hales in car number 27 is the first car eliminated from title contention. He is 93 points back. That's why some of these cars are in red. Scott Johnson, car number 58, is also eliminated. He has 98 points back. And Shane Clark III in car number 98 has 106 points back. These 3 drivers will have to race their way into Columbia, as the other 5, if they potentially survive Texas and somehow are eligible, they will not have to. They will not need that. They will not have to race in at Columbia. And now let's take a look at 9 through 15. Casey Lester in car number 12, who had a very good shot at potentially winning the title a few races ago, has fallen back due to poor luck and being involved in cautions and wrecks that he shouldn't really be in. As a result, he is 114 points back of the leaders. Logan Chin in car number 72, he is 123 points back from the leader. Jan Anoy, 126 back. Tony Weiler in car number 35. He is 133 points back, tied with Casey Huto in car number 19. Brandon Green in car number 30. He is 142 points back. And Shane Harden in car number 40 and 59 is 143 points back. He is 15th in points. Next week's race will be at the penultimate venue at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas.